Hi guys, we are going to jump to chapter 23 today, but only the first section. You'll have to wait until next year to get the rest of chapter 23. All right, the final system we're going to talk about this year is the endocrine system, okay? And the endocrine system is responsible for many of the daily processes in the body. Homeostasis is really controlled by the endocrine system. But things such as growth, metabolism, your sleep cycles, and yes, reproduction, all are controlled by the endocrine system. And it's controlled by these things called hormones, and they're basically chemicals that go and they turn things on and off, and they speed up functions and slow down functions, and they target many different organs to do that, okay? And it involves lots of glands. You can feel glands, different places. You've got your thyroid gland up on your throat. You've got glands all over your body. They produce hormones, and there's not a transport system for them. They just release those hormones directly into the bloodstream. All right, and then those hormones go and they find these target cells. So the hormones don't. Because they go into the bloodstream, they're going lots of places. They don't affect all of the organs. It's a lock that fits in a special key. They have specific places they're going. We've talked about insulin several times this year with diabetes. Insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that literally acts like a key to open a door in cells that allows glucose to enter. Okay? Insulin doesn't do anything else anywhere else in the body. It just goes to specific cells to allow the glucose to get in and be used by those cells. Okay? All right, so let's talk about this part deep up inside of the brain. So this little guy right here, known as the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus really links the nervous system and the endocrine system together. Neither one can do much without the other, okay? The nervous system sends impulses to the endocrine system to do its stuff, but the endocrine system keeps everything in balance so the nervous system can work properly. So they really go hand in hand, okay? The hypothalamus does both things. It produces a hormone, but it also sends nerve impulses, okay? The hypothalamus produces hormones that then control other glands, different places in the body. But it also sends these impulses that help us control sleeping. That's what tells us when we're hungry or thirsty, and it also helps us maintain a stable body temperature. Now, underneath the hypothalamus, this little tiny guy right here, okay? This little pea-shaped, pea-sized thing is known as the pituitary gland. This is an important little guy right here. Pea-sized gland, but it's known as the master gland. This is what's in charge of everything. So the hypothalamus is technically part of the brain. It tells the pituitary gland what to do, but this little tiny gland controls all the other glands in your body, okay? And it secretes hormones to tell it different things. One is your thyroid, okay? People that have thyroid conditions have all kinds of different medical problems that involves their sleep, their weight, all kinds of stuff going on. That comes directly from your pituitary gland. Also your adrenal glands, okay? You know the hormone adrenaline that we feel with that fight or flight? If you look at a picture of kidneys, there's two little things sitting up on top of each of your kidneys. Those are the adrenal glands. So the pituitary gland secretes hormones that controls that as well, in addition to many other glands in your body. I'm just going to go through that briefly. The pituitary gland secretes the growth hormone that allows us to grow and develop itself. It doesn't send signals to something else. It secretes that hormone itself, okay? Now, your endocrine system works with this kind of interesting thing called a negative feedback loop system, okay? And simply what that means is that your endocrine system produces hormones that then cause the endocrine system to be turned off, okay? So if you kind of follow along in this loop right here, let me make sure I have my pen here. Okay, so we're going to start up at this gland, doesn't matter. It secretes hormone A, gets into the bloodstream. Hormone A then targets gland B, which secretes hormone B. Hormone B goes to this target cell to do its job, okay? But the presence of hormone B inhibits gland A. So you need B for this to work, But when there's a certain amount of B, it tells gland A to stop producing hormone A. Well, if there's no hormone A, this gland is not producing hormone B. Then this isn't going to happen, okay? So the book describes it as a thermostat, okay? If you set your thermostat for a certain temperature in your house, if the temperature is below that, say you've got the heat on, if the temperature is below, the heat's going to come on until it hits that amount, and it's going to trip the thermostat to say, nope, no more, and then it goes down. Same thing with these hormones. Hormones are being secreted because they're needed, but once they're detected at a certain level, it shuts off the production of it. And then that level goes down, and then more is produced. That's known as a negative feedback loop. Okay? Again, once it gets too low, it's produced again. Okay, let's talk about gonads. Yes, the endocrine system is very involved with the reproductive system. Gonads are what produce the sex cells and the hormones involved in the reproductive system. Okay, so in males, we have the testes, the testicles, and they produce the hormone testosterone. That's responsible for giving a lot of the male characteristics. And then the ovaries, found in females, produces the female hormone estrogen. Now, both of these hormones are very involved with the actual process of reproduction, but they're also very involved in puberty, okay? When you start going through puberty, that's when these hormones are starting to get produced. That's why everybody says, oh my gosh, teenagers, hormones are making them crazy. Well, they kind of are, because your body's not used to it yet, and it's a lot to go through, and it causes all kinds of changes, changes which we will talk much more about next year. So that's our little sample of the reproductive system, but we're still going to talk about it. Fortunately, you guys aren't graduating, so we're going to kick off 8th grade next year in this classroom, and we are still going to talk about the reproductive system. So stay tuned. That's all I've got for you guys. Take care. Bye.